That's the purpose of this. All right, so the brand story exercise. So let's talk about this really quick. Okay, when we write our brand story, all right, this is how this typically works. Has anyone ever heard of story branding? There's a book called Story Branding. Okay, all right, so this is how this works. I'm going to give you story branding in a nutshell. Story branding works like this. Okay, you have the hero of the story, and then you have basically, let's say the outcome. Okay, all right. So this is what happens. When you write your brand story, your brand story needs to have a hero, and it needs to bring the hero to a desired outcome. The first mistake that we make when we write our brand story for our company is we make ourselves the hero of the story. None of your customers cares about you. They care about themselves. Okay, that's the sad reality. Now, because they care about themselves, they are concerned about you, right? So if I want my yard cut, I don't care who you are, where you're from, I want it cut, okay? But because I care about myself, I'm concerned who's coming to cut it. Okay, so you do matter, okay? But a lot of times the mistake that we make is when we write our brand story, we make ourselves the hero, okay? I have been doing HVAC for 28 years. I have this, I have this, I have this, okay? What we need to do is make the customer the hero of the story, okay? So I need to be able to place myself as the customer in there. And this is what that looks like. Everybody knows Star Wars, okay? Does anyone know who the hero is in Star Wars? Luke Skywalker, okay? All right. Luke Skywalker is the hero of Star Wars. Luke, okay? Yoda is the trusted guide in Star Wars. The desired outcome is Luke. At the beginning of the movie, he's just a lost 18-year-old kid. He's lost, he's confused. By the end of the movie, he's a Jedi warrior. All of your customers, they feel like this, they want to get to this, okay? You are going to place yourself here. Luke was an 18-year-old lost boy. He meets Yoda, and Yoda brings him to this, okay? And that's how you write your brand story, okay? And this is what I mean. So if I talk about myself, I say, I am such and such from driving school, okay? We have brought dozens of high school students from no knowledge of driving to becoming safe drivers within 3 weeks, okay? So you see how they're concerned about what you can do for them. Yours was great, okay? So we have to find out where I can place myself. I just need to put it here, okay? So when I'm listening to you, what in your story is telling me that you can bring my son to become a safe driver? And you had elements in there, okay? I'm not pointing to say you, it's for everybody, okay?
I'm good. I got a long sleeve, right?
No, yours is good. Okay, all right, so, and that's the beauty of a testimonial, okay? So what we want to do is we want to key in on customers' fears, okay? We want to key in on customers, we'll say concerns, desires, okay? So let's talk about this, fears. Okay, you own a landscaping company. You cut grass, okay? I know you do many other things. I have to pick one. Let's say you cut grass. Guess what? A lot of people can't in town. And a lot of people can do it cheaper than you, okay? Okay, now, but what are your customers' fears? What are they, first of all, who hires landscapers? Wife hires the landscaper, right? Danielle says, babe, the grass is getting really long. You say, okay, can you call somebody? She says, okay. That's how it works 70% of the time, okay? 30% of the time, men hire people to work on the houses, okay, right? So in the home services space, your customer, most of the time is women, okay? 30% men are concerned about you coming to their house. Why? They're not scared of you. You're coming to the house where their wife is, where their kids are. So there's still a concern here, okay? So anyone can cut grass. So you don't focus on this when you write your brand story. Oh, we can do this, we can cut grass, we can cut the tree. You don't focus on this. Focus on this. That's how you win against everyone else, okay? In my company, I do HVAC, okay? Guess what? HVAC, okay, whatever. Guess what? A lot of people do HVAC. What are my customers concerned about? When I come to the house, do you want me to come to the house, you're not there and she's there? You're going to look at me, you're going to make an instant judgment. Do I look safe? Right? You're going to make an instant judgment. How do I work on this? With my uniform, with my shirt tucked in, with my boots, with my sign? All of that triggers instantly, these people are cheaper, but this guy is safer. That's what you write your brand story about. Okay? I actually give out on estimates all these little things that this signals professionalism, safety, and it tells my brand story. You see how the little kids that our company supports, we support these boys. All of this is built for when Nisla calls, she doesn't know me at all. She's home by herself, or she might have her kids home, whatever. Then she's looking at this and saying, he looks safe. Look, you see me, I'm shaking some guy's hand on there in my uniform. All that is on purpose. Okay. So that's why when we write our brand story, it was very important. You talked about yourself. You talked about your dad. When I start hearing that, I start thinking about my dad and when I used to work with my dad. And now all of a sudden you're not a driving school anymore. A safe person for me to put my son with.
That
Okay.
was the first thing I thought about because he said teacher and coach. So I'm like, he already knows.
Huge.
With
That would be a great point in the story. Teacher and coach is like saying fireman, police officer. I mean, it's a trusted person. Okay. Now, what are the fears of a parent? And I just went through this. What are the fears of a parent that puts their son in a driving school? Crashing. Who is my son or my daughter in the car? I have boys. My boys are big and they are strong. And I was concerned who they're in the car. That was my biggest thing, right? So I can't imagine if I had smaller boys or girls, right? So I'm going to communicate not on what I do as much as what are my customers' fears. If I'm a driver school and someone calls, I'm not even waiting for them to ask me that because I already know that's their fear. Hey, how much is your driving school? Okay, sure. Yeah. That's the first question. They're going to ask that. It's their first question, but it's not their first concern. You know what their real concern is. How much is your driver's school? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, let me go over the packages with you. Before I do that, I do want to let you know all of our drivers are vetted. All of our drivers are trained. They have clean background checks. They have this, they have that. Once you say that, it's almost the price is almost not even important anymore. You know they have that concern. So you find out their 1 to 3 top fears or top concerns, and you address that. When someone calls and says, how much is your driving school? And you say, oh, it's 300. And they say, okay, I'm calling around, click. You've lost the battle, right? All of us, our different customers have different fears. My customers have the same concerns as yours and yours because we're in the same business. Nistla's is a little different, okay? With accounting, I have an accountant in my company. What is my biggest concern? Are you doing any work? Because I can't see what you're doing. I'm paying every month. I can't see. Is she doing anything? Does she know anything? You know, all of these, even though Nistla is very knowledgeable, if she's a stranger, I don't know that. So all I'm going to do is just call around and go with the cheapest because they're all, I'm not sure if they're not doing. So then that question needs to be answered on the discovery call. And when someone calls you, how much is it? That's a discovery call. It's not a price question. That's a discovery call. Okay? The same thing with house cleaning. My wife will not get a house cleaner. She will not do it. And she needs it. And she wants it. But she says, I don't know who's going to be in my house. That's what house cleaners have to answer. But we always, as business owners, are focused on the price. There's other guys cheaper than me. You're not losing off of that. You're losing because you're not addressing the concerns and fears. So any questions on that? 723. Okay, we're doing good.
Can I ask you this?
Yes, sir.
How do you end? Is there an appropriate way to end this? I know how to start it, but as you go through it, what's too long? What's too short?
Okay. So what you want to do when you're talking to someone, because now we're talking about the discovery call, right? What you want to do is you want to ask them questions. So if you're talking, like if you look at your recording, you imagine a customer calls, it's a 7-minute phone call. You want the customer to be talking more than you. So if you can imagine a recording, you talk to 80%, they talk 20%, you're going to lose that. Okay. You need to talk, but you need to be asking questions because when I ask you questions, I get to the root of what you're actually calling about, okay? So for me, it looks like, right, so you call about AC. Hey, how much is your service call? Oh, it's $99. How can I help you? Well, my AC is hot and blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. So you're just looking to get it fixed, looking just to get it repaired. Actually, I'm starting to find out more about what they want. They're going to tell you what they want. And that's customer service. It's not salesmanship. Bad salesmanship is selling you something you don't want and you don't need. Good sales is finding out what you actually need and what you actually want and then selling you that, right? So one customer may want, hey, I just want my son to get a license. That's all they care about. So they might be about speed or convenience. Another one might be like, hey, I'm scared who they're going to be driving with. They care about safety. So the more you ask questions, then you're starting to key on what they actually want. And then that's the part of your company story that you're going to key in on. And then you end it always. You end it by asking for the sale, always. You don't have to twist people's arm or push, but you do have to ask, would you like me to schedule it? Would you like me to schedule, daughter? I have 3 dates. Just ask. I mean, what's the worst that they're going to say? No. But if you don't ask, yeah, get them on the schedule. Get them on the schedule. Even if they say, well, I'm really not sure. I don't really know what the dates are. Say, okay, I'll tell you what. I have these 3 dates, August 10th, August 15th, August 18th. They fill up really fast. How about I get you on the schedule for the 10th? So that it's not booked. I'll go ahead and put you on the schedule, and then I'll call you in a couple days to see if you're still good. I'll take you off, right? they're on the schedule, what's the chance they're going to call around and go through all that again and try to get it? They're already having an appointment. So ask for the sale is very important. And then you can go further. And we have a sales one coming up in a couple weeks, one of the classes. But once you ask for the sale, when they say no, you can go further and ask them why, because that's going to give you the next actual reason, something you can solve. I can get you on the schedule. Would you like me to schedule now? Well, no, I don't think my son is ready to get in the truck right now. Oh, okay, why not? And then you might be able to convince him that he is, right? Okay. I'm not saying you have to just hold him on. You get what I'm saying. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the thing that everybody wants, customer acquisition. Okay. How do we get customers? That is the hardest part in business, besides scaling a business, getting employees and scaling, getting yourself out of the business. Customer acquisition. How do you get customers? Okay. First thing we need to do, and me and Kenny were talking about this earlier, is we need to find out who our customer is first. Every customer is not a customer. There's some bad customers. Like we said earlier, every dollar is not a good dollar. Okay. So we need to find out customer avatar. All it means is a fancy word for who is our customer. Okay. All right. So we do this by answering some questions. All right. So who wants to go in this next exercise? I'm going to ask you a couple things. All right. So your ideal customer. Okay. Let's write it like this. Okay. All right. There's an author. His name is Mike Michalowicz. And he says, you put your customers in two categories, the crush category and the cringe category, just so that you can remember it. When you think about a customer that you had or a group of customers, say, man, that was a great client. I love that client. That's a crush. The opposite, when you think of a client, you're like, I hope I don't ever get a client like that person. Okay, you think about those interactions. Maybe you can get like 5 or 6 of the good ones and 5 or 6 of the bad ones. And what you do is you try to find out what they have in common. And find out what they have in common. Okay? This is if you've had a business for a while. If you're a new business, then you're just going to start out by answering these questions. So you want to go first. Okay, so your ideal customer in your mind, this is the best customer. How old are they? Okay, 35. Can they be older? Okay, okay. So no one 34, 32. Okay, all right, 35 plus. Okay. They have a gender? Men. Okay, men. Okay, family size? They're married?
Yeah, like 4 or 5.
The total. So 3 kids, 2 kids, wife and 3 kids. Okay. So they got kids. Income level. What's their income level between this and 60K to 150K? Okay. All right. How old are their kids? Okay. I love this. Okay. All right. Okay. So we have a man who's over 35, has a family size of about 5. You make 60K to 150K. This total household income, I'd assume. He has young kids. That's your perfect customer. What is his name? Name it. Okay, when you are writing your Facebook posts for your business or your ads or doing a video, whatever, I want you to write it for Chad. That's how you dial in your message, okay? If I was going to write a message, if I'm thinking about Nisla, I'm like, I really want to get Nisla's business. I'm going to write a different message for her than I'm going to write for you. That's a fact, all right? I'm going to think, okay, she's a mother, right? She does this, does this, does. She's going to react to certain language on a post than what you guys will react to, because of the age demographic, right? If I'm going to write to him, and I know, okay, he's a teacher, he's a coach, right? I'm probably going to write a different message for him than her, okay? Even though they're probably close to the same age, right? So you figure out who your ideal customer is. Every time you write a message to that person, and naming them helps you write it to that person. Okay. What business did you say you were in? No, I just realized that. That's amazing. Okay, so a money coach. Okay, what's your customer age? Can it be older?
Yeah, it's like an age range.
So no older than 35. It's okay. I mean, we have 4. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we have. Let's have.
I would say 25 to 40.
I mean, you have to have a range. All right. So, are they men or women? Women. You said women.
Yeah.
Okay, women. A single woman. Okay, this is amazing. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, so when you are writing your posts, you need to be thinking about Nicole. Don't write it for me. If you write something and I read it, I'm like, oh, I really want to hire this person. You didn't write it right.
Right.
Okay, because I'm not in this, right? Any single one of them. Okay, so you want to write it for that. Now I will add this. You can have more than one. So she might say, or Kenny might say, okay, this is one guy. Now I have another customer avatar because a majority of women would hire you, right? Or husbands might tell their wife, hey, call the person, right? Then you would write it and figure out the ages. Her age would probably be close to this. You would name her, what's the wife's name? Now, it can't be Nicole. Oh, it could be. No, she don't have no kids. Okay. Yeah. But you get what I'm saying. So you can write one post for this customer, one post for this customer. Let's say you're posting on Facebook. You might say, Monday I'm writing for Chad. Tuesday I'm writing for Chadisa. Okay? Chadisa. All right. That's customer avatar. All right. So your customers, are they the parents?
Yeah,
The actual
I got
customer?
a crazy deal because I serve teens 17
Mhm.
to 11 months of age. So it can't be 18. 18
Okay.
under for teens.
Are they the
Plus
customer?
18 adult. It's tricky because
Mhm.
the kids really, if they want to go there, they go there.
I
Parents
get
go
it.
there, You know,
Because they sign up at school, a lot of them. Some of the
So
drivers.
there's two different deals. School has a driving school. Some of the schools have, Cumberland County does have one,
Yeah.
but they can't serve all the kids.
Yeah.
So the kids end up
Yeah.
finding out and then they call.
Yeah.
That's
And
how
you
I
can-
get in the loop.
You can write it for certain,
Like I did a post yesterday I had a kid that was at Jack Boyd. He did a testimonial for us
Really good.
yesterday or last night and then we got a discount for all the Jack Boyd kids. So we tried to.
love that.
Candy.
I love this. This is the purpose of this. This is one of my main goals is we're finding out about each other's businesses. And now let's go to, because I know you. This is the beauty of this. This is the beauty of this.
This is the reality of people who actually convert.
Yep.
I've noticed a gap personally with my business where I had it so
Mhm.
they're not, how do I even reach them on Facebook with a little tiny more? Change my customer avatar to who's here in Fayetteville,
Mhm.
you know, and so yeah, it's just a reality that
Yeah.
listening to him because with the
Yeah, it's 100%. And that's the good thing about the exercise. You introduce to these concepts and you start it and then you learn. I call it test, tweak, test, tweak. All right. So I try something. I write for Chad over and over and over. I get no response. So then I start to think, wait a minute, let me try it different. Let me change it to a woman. How would it, and I write for women and I find out, oh, boom, wait a minute, maybe my customer avatar wasn't correct. But action is better than inaction. So that is a fantastic point.
Have students, but I'm not in that life experience yet. Once my price is raised and I realize like grad students are broke. So now it's more like
Yeah.
being professional.
Yeah.
And like my brand voice changed to more like feminine,
Yeah.
just to women instead of like yeah, men can come, but I'm not talking to men. A lot of things like
Yeah.
stuff evolve.
It just helps you dial in your message
Yeah,
a
exactly.
little bit. I mean, I admit, for me, in my consulting, if I dressed like this, my customer avatar does not dress like this. Okay, so typically you'll see me with a blazer or something because my clients are 44 and up. Okay, they're professionals. They don't wear track jackets. So sometimes you have to. I mean, I'm always going to be me. You got to be you, but you got to also be aware of the perception of who you're trying to reach. Okay.
I guess I just realized I need to be focusing more.
I'll tell you, in home services, so you're close to home services somewhat. I'm in home services, he's in home services, Stephanie's in home services. No, I mean home services as far as, for me, I service at people's homes. Stephanie has a house cleaning business. He has a lawn care business, I have HVAC. Okay, that industry is dominated by women purchasing. That's a fact, right? So the women make the decision, right? So I tell my wife, hey, we're going to remodel. We remodeled our bathroom years ago. And I called a plumber because I'm in HVAC. Who's better to hire the plumber than me? Okay. So I called this plumber. He comes, he gives the estimate, and I was ready to hire him. My wife said, I don't like him. I said, what do you didn't like about him? He was good. And she said, I don't like him. Call somebody else. And at the end of the day, she's going to be home with this guy. I called another guy. He gave a quote. This guy was twice the price. Okay. I'm going to tell you a trick. And I'm going to tell you a trick too. And it's very important. This guy came. I called him. He came to the house. He was in the bathroom saying he's going to do this and this. He never looked me in the eye once. He was looking at my wife and saying, ma'am, we're going to do this. Ma'am, we're going to do this. Ma'am, we're going to do this. He knows. And she said, have him do the job. I said, okay. It looked like I was the purchaser. Okay, but in reality, my concern is my wife's safety. Okay, so if my wife doesn't feel safe, something is wrong. And it's the same thing. Like you're not in the home services, you're not serving people's houses, washing the windows or anything. But it's sort of similar. Yeah, I mean, the moms are deciding who their kid gets in the car with. The men too, you get it. It's 70-30. But yeah, I would write for both. And I would heavily, if I were you, I would focus a lot of my stories on who the kid is riding with. That's the sale for you. And the second thing I would focus on is, it's not for us, it's not only about them getting the permit, but it's about them learning how to drive safe. Some driving schools will get your child a permit. Our driving school will get your child a permit, and they will be a safe driver. If I heard that, I'm in the school. Okay, so these are good exercises. Okay, customer avatar. The next thing you're going to ask is, where is that customer? Okay, where are they? What communities are they in? Your customer avatar is in a different community than his customer avatar because of the age and everything. Okay, so where do they hang out, right? What do they do? Who do they talk to? Where are they? Okay, let's talk about, we're going to skip intro to pricing for a minute. Let's talk about this real quick so I can erase this so I can get out of my way. Okay. This is specifically for you, and this hurts for you, and definitely Stephanie. What business are you in, sir? Okay, so you're coming to learn. Okay. All right. Check this out. There are different types of marketing. Okay. There's boots on the ground marketing. There's networking, which is this is a networking group. Okay. There's relationship marketing. Right? She was just asking you about your driving school and where you're located and everything. You're building a relationship with her. She's sending you referrals. Okay. So you would cultivate these relationships that send you referrals. And then there's digital marketing, social media. This is the one everybody spends their time doing in marketing. And they ignore all of this. What's that? They ignore all of this. What's more powerful? You posting on Facebook. Listen, marketing is very powerful. I'm not saying it's not. It's incredibly powerful. But what's more powerful? Someone going on Facebook and seeing a post about landscaping, or her telling her friend that she uses it. That is very powerful. The problem is, this is easier. This is scary and labor intensive. Okay? So let's talk about this real quick. Boots on the ground marketing. There's a term by a guy named Dan Antonelli. It's called 5 Mile Famous. All right? This here, can anyone guess what this is off of my drawing?
Yeah.
Neighborhood. Okay.
I'm sure they say it looks like an intersection.
Yeah. Especially you. Yeah. This is a street. This right here is a neighborhood entrance. All right, so imagine you have a small marketing budget, okay? Small marketing budget. There's 200 homes in this neighborhood. There's 2, 4, 6, 800 people on ads, let's say. Okay, so what you do is, this is for the local business. We'll get into the national businesses in a minute, okay? What you can do is, you can put a yard sign. This works for you. This definitely works for you, definitely works for you. You put a yard sign at each entrance. I'm gonna put a yard sign here. I'm gonna put a yard sign here. Every time these 200 people leave and enter that neighborhood, they're gonna see my sign. I had yard signs on your neighborhood at one point. Every time they leave, they're gonna see that logo. Simple sign. You know how much a yard sign costs? 200 something? Yeah. Okay, I just had 15 for $2. Can you send me that?
It might be like 250 or 270.
Yeah, they're like $3.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big ones. They're pretty big.
So this right here, that's 3 yard signs. I spent $9. All right, it lasts for 3 days, and then someone throws them away. It lasts for a week. Someone threw it. It's $9. I put in more. Who cares? You spend more than that at Chipotle. Okay, so I put a yard sign at each entrance. Then I send a postcard to each one of these houses once a month. Once a month. You know how much it costs to send a postcard to one house? $1. $1 if you use a service. You can get it even cheaper if you do it yourself. I don't believe in that. Last week we talked about $1,000 an hour task and $100 an hour task. Get someone to print them for you. It costs $1. Don't get them for 25 cents in spending and designing, okay? All right, so you're gonna mail a postcard to each one of these 200 houses once a month. How much does that cost you a month? For $200 a month, I own this neighborhood because these people are gonna get a postcard and then they're gonna see that sign. And then once they get that postcard and that sign, they're gonna start seeing my truck on the road. And they're gonna start thinking, this is the biggest driving school in Fayetteville. And you're not, but that's what they think.
True.
And when someone thinks you are everywhere, that generates trust. So for a very small budget, I own 200 people, right?
How do you determine what neighborhood? Does it matter?
We determined it a minute ago, the customer avatar. How old are they?
Gotcha.
Do they have families? How much do they make? So I'm gonna pick a neighborhood. If my customer avatar makes 150K a year, I know what neighborhood they're not in. So, okay, so that's how you pick the neighborhood. Okay, you don't want neighborhoods that have kids that are little. I probably don't want a neighborhood where the ages are
Yeah.
for you, no kids. I probably want a neighborhood where they're probably 35 plus and probably not even, probably a little older. Because you're only 17, 18 years old, right? So you're probably closer to 40. What neighborhood are they? So you drive around and you can actually, there's a software that I'll tell you about. I don't want to say it on the camera, but ask me later after class. There's actually a software that you can buy postcards a la carte, and you can actually punch in the demographic and it'll show you the neighborhood. I've used it many times. I love it. And then when you make your postcard, 749, we're almost into Q&A. When you make your postcards, you're doing it for that demographic because you wrote it for them and you're mailing it to them. And now you're getting power. I did that for a long time. Actually, when I want to take a neighborhood, I do that. And I actually focused on their neighborhood that they lived in for a while. It's called taking ground. It's what the military does, right? Okay. All right. So let's move on. Where are we? Okay, boots on the ground. That's what that is. It doesn't work as well on yours because you don't have a local audience. Okay. Networking. Networking is very, very, very important. We just saw it happen spontaneously a minute ago. People are starting to find out. Okay. This is going to put our businesses on steroids. You're going to notice a big difference in your driving school and your accounting firm because now we're in these conversations. There are groups, for example, BNI is a big one. Has anyone ever heard of BNI? It's the big one. BNI is a national and an international business networking group. I've been in BNI chapters for a few years. You meet in person or you meet on Zoom. There's a bunch of businesses in there and you share referrals and every week they give a report. There's a lot of accountability. We would get on a report and I'd say, I sent Paige 3 clients last week. So it pushes you to do it. You got to have a sub. So BNI is one. Chamber of Commerce is one. That's more for the local businesses. Chamber of Commerce is very powerful for local businesses. BNI is good for local and international. Relationship marketing is big. It's really, really big, right? So I'm a consultant. You're a consultant. We had a consultant. We need to facilitate those relationships, right? So when I meet a client and I notice and I hear a conversation, I can send, right? So those kind of relationships. So you'd want to make relationships in the space that you're in. I can't say that I'm in conversations a lot with women and money management. I'm probably in that more than the weight loss conversation. So you find people that can refer, but this takes work, okay? But it's very, very powerful, okay? And digital marketing deserves its own class, to be honest. I would disrespect it to cram it in this class. I'm not even going to do that, okay? All right. Customer nurture. What does that mean? Customer nurture means your clients that you have are what pays your bills. If you have a client, you need to be nurturing that client. We need to be emailing them. We need to put them on a newsletter. My accountant is always sending me chat messages and emails, and it's probably the only reason I'm still on there because I forget about her. And then when I forget, then I think like, has she done anything? You know, but then when they message, hey, I did this, I knocked this out, and over communication is better than no communication. I log in and I see, oh, she's sending me all this random things. Sometimes we feel like we're sending too much, but it's okay, right? Lead nurture is when the lead comes in, they didn't close. So people call you and they just said, okay, I'll get back with you. How are we communicating with them over the weeks so that we can close them? Okay, so these systems have to be built. Something we'll have to expand on in the future. Okay, am I losing anybody? Okay, all right. Okay, I don't know if we'll get to this today. Do we have any questions? Do we want to answer questions yet or do we want to keep moving? Okay, we keep it moving. I write mine. Mine go out once a month, the base ones, okay? So I pre-write mine because I've had my newsletter for so long. So what I do is I have 18 emails that I send. Every 18 months it recycles over again. So if you got an email in January, 18 months later, 19 months, you're going to get that same email. Those are the base ones, and it's on a cycle. But then when I have something I want to interject, or if something happened, or I got some bright idea and I want to share with them, I'll email that. So you might get 2 or 3. And the reason I recycle the emails is for 2 reasons. One, you don't remember what you ate for breakfast last week, let alone 18 months ago. You don't remember. You don't. We think like, send the same email, that's cheesy. They don't remember the email. Nobody's playing you that close, as they said in the 90s. So you write the email, but you give, it's Gary Vee, you know Gary Vee, he says jab, 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 right hook. If you're writing your customers, you need to give, 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 give. Don't ask, ask, ask. So the email shouldn't be, hey, I got a special doing this. Hey, I'm running this special. Hey, I got this product. People are going to unsubscribe. Okay, you need to give value. Hey, did you know this is one way to keep this from happening? Hey, did you know this should help you drop 5 pounds in a week? You're helping them over and over and over. You're generating goodwill. You're generating trust. And then when you send that email like, hey, we have a special on house cleaning, now you've built trust. If you just always ask, they're going to unsubscribe. Okay. All right. But that didn't answer your question. It did. Okay.
I was never taught.
It's very, very powerful. Let's see. Customer acquisition. Okay. That's lead generation.
Yeah.
Lead generation is the most important thing. Capturing, we talked about this last week. Capturing names, emails, phone numbers is incredibly powerful. Because if you don't build your list, you truly have no one to talk to. You have, let's say you have a new product, a new offering. If you don't have a list, who are you going to talk to? You're going to post on social media. So you're going to go on your IG. You're going to post a video, and you're going to hope that it does numbers.
So for context, one of my, I've collected like over 200 emails.
So you're collecting.
But I like sleep. I don't know what to do.
Okay.
with those emails.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what you have to do is you have to pre-plan. Okay. So you have to go home and you have to say, okay, what are the first 5 emails someone's going to get when they subscribe? Okay. So you're going to write it. So your first email is going to be an intro, and you're going to remind them why they gave you the email address in the first place. Because you get an email and say, what is this? I didn't sign up for this. Okay. So the first email has to be an intro and a, hi, I'm Paige. You signed up to get, it can be as simple and straightforward as that, right? Hi, I'm Paige. You signed up to get 5 tips on money. Because that video, so if you have a video that went viral, that video was about something, okay? Let's say that video was about budgeting, okay? And then this video is about, what is another money thing? Saving credit cards, I don't know. Okay, credit. If I say in this video, here are 5 ways to save money and get rewards on your credit card. And if you're interested in more, sign up below. Okay, this video says, here are 3 tips on budgeting. And if you want more info, sign up below. He needs to get a different intro email than him. That's advanced. Okay, I don't want you to start that. I don't want you to start that yet. I want you to start that yet. But what I want you to do is write the emails, intro email, write the follow-up email. Okay, so an intro email could say something like, hey, this is Paige. Thank you for signing up. Remind them what they signed up for, and then tell them what to expect. Okay, so the first email is like, oh, I did sign up for that. Because once they swiped, they forgot about you. You didn't forget about them, but they forgot about you. So they get the email instantly. Now they see your face. And like, oh, yeah, she's awesome. Then you're going to tell them what to expect. In the future, you will be getting emails from me. They will be about this or about this or about this. Now they're mentally opting in. So when you send an email a month later, like, oh, she did say she was going to send info about this and about this. So you need an intro, one that introduces you, minds them, and then sets the expectation. And then the second email can be about anything. So write them out, and then you can use a software like Constant Contact. I use Constant Contact to write them and then pre-schedule them. But don't worry about pre-scheduling them yet. Just write the first one and then set that on like an auto. And we could talk more about that. So that's the bread and butter. I have in my company 6,000 people. It took me a long, and I nurture those people, and I care about those people, and I try not to spam them because they pay my bills, right?
And they're high converting, right? Email list or?
Yeah, email list, your client list is their actual customers, right? Especially if they bought something. If you bought from me once, you're going to buy from me again, right? So those people are actually probably going to buy. So then when you come up with an offer, here's the problem. So you have 200 emails, okay? So here's the problem is you get a stroke of, you have 500. That's incredible. Good for you. Good for you. That is amazing. You're ahead of the game. Okay. So you have 500 emails. You get a stroke of inspiration because you prayed and the Lord said, boom, here's an idea. There's a difference between posting your idea on Instagram and hoping someone signs up and say, hey, I'm about to email them about this. That's power. All of us should be building our list. And then when someone calls, we need to be adding them to the list, to a follow-up list or something, because people buy later. People are 6 to 8 months from deciding to purchase, right? So, and I remember my driving story with my boys. It was hard to find a driving school, and it took us months. Did you have the same story? You can't get information, call and they don't answer. Finally, my wife told my son, just find whoever, sign up with them. So the game is not hard. Reduce the friction. When they call them back. If somebody would have just called me back out of the one of the 10 people that I talked to, if a week later they said, hey, I talked to you last week, are you ready? I said, thank you, Lord. Okay. All right, what time is it? 8:01. We got a lot of time. Okay. All right, let's talk about intro to pricing. Do you have any more on that, Pete? Okay. Intro to pricing. It's actually my favorite topic. I love pricing. Okay. How do you guys price your services, by the way? Okay. Value. Okay. How value? Okay. I got to think of a way to word that. So we'll put value. That's really good. Or you said you had long sleeves. All right. This is the beginner level. Okay. Which is okay. Probably over 98% of people price this way. Okay. The best way is by this. That's the best way. So we always start with our costs. And then in order to justify our prices, we have to communicate the value. Okay? Because once you price by your cost, you're going to quickly find out you're probably underpriced. Because most people are underpriced. And when you price off your competition, you price based off the most people. So a lot of times, and you might be right on the sweet spot, I don't know. Okay, so you price by your cost, you find out you're higher than everyone else. How do I possibly sell to someone that I'm higher than? I talked about the value earlier. Who is my daughter driving with? Now cost becomes irrelevant, okay? The plumber, he was literally twice the cost. One guy was $1,500, the other guy was $3,200. My wife felt safe with him, okay? The price became irrelevant, all right? So by cost, okay, how do we do this? Time is a cost, okay? All right, so how do we do this? So when we price our services, give a menu of prices. We never want to give one price, okay? Now keep in mind, this is a very difficult class to teach because everyone is in a different industry. Okay, so I'm trying to apply it to everyone. Some stuff is going to be a little bit different, okay? All right, but you very rarely want to give one price. You want to give a menu of pricing. Why do you want to do that? Because your customers want different things, they need different things, and they have a different budget, okay? So if you think about the best pricing that you have ever seen in your life is in a restaurant. There is something on that menu for everybody. Everybody can get something, okay? So you open that menu, they got something for $14.99, they got appetizers for $3.99, and they got something for $30.99. And then they got that expensive wine for $399. Okay, I just found out about one of my employees worked at a restaurant in town, and I had no idea people were spending that kind of money going out. They have it on the menu. Somebody's going to find something on here. If I only offer this, what happens? I lose my higher value people that wanted steak. I can't decide what you want. We sell out of our own pocket is what happens. You don't want to spend $100,000 on a vehicle. So don't feel right pricing your vehicles at $100,000. But you don't determine what you want, right? I walked into a dealership actually one day. My wife wanted this Kia. It was $52,000, and we had a long conversation at home. I don't want to spend that much money. I said, if you deserve it, do it. We walked in the dealership, and I said, where's this type of car? And the guy said, do you really want to spend that much? I said, no. You don't get to decide what I want as the business. Present it all, and let me pick. Don't sell out of your own pocket. That's one of the biggest things we do as business owners, especially beginning business owners, because we say, no one's going to pay that in. Where's that coming from? Okay?
How do you do that? You get a phone call. First call, first question, pricing. How do you present, and I have a menu of things that get, some things I don't have a choice about. How do you move from there to presenting
The multiple options.
the menu? And I got a couple of questions. Is it it feels like in this business we're in that everybody's trying to stay close to everybody in terms of pricing.
Yeah.
So that they're not either priced out or the customer doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. You have an interesting business because some of it is partially regulated, and it's almost a commodity. It's almost like the landscaping business. So people view it as, just cut it. He's going to cut it the same way you more than him. That's difficult. I'm in the same mode as you. I want my AC fixed. Why are you this and why are you this? Okay, so we have to communicate to them the difference. So there's a couple things that we can do. Number one, the more known we are is one way we can challenge that. Known is better than best, and known is better than cheapest. Okay, what do I mean by that? Starbucks and McDonald's are the two biggest restaurants in the world. Okay, most people know about McDonald's. Most people don't know Starbucks is the number 2 biggest restaurant in the world. Starbucks does not sell the best coffee in the world. McDonald's does not sell the best hamburgers in the world. They're the number one and the number two biggest restaurants in the world. Why? Tell you why. Number one, you know them. Number two, convenience and no friction, right? I'm starving. I don't want to go in and then order and then I'm going to drive through this drive-through. I know it's nasty. I know it's bad for me. I shouldn't be eating it, but I don't have that much time. They remove the friction. Your business has a lot of friction, okay? Your business has a lot of friction. It's hard to get somebody to show up. It's crazy. You hire a plumber, you hire a landscaper, they don't show up. They don't answer phone. They say they're going to be there Tuesday. They don't show up. You call them and say, oh, I had an emergency. I had a flat tire. I'll be there Thursday. They don't come Thursday. That's a lot of friction. If you can just beat the friction, they say, well, I know he's higher than the other one, but man, he comes every time. It's why I have a no cancellation policy in my business. It's on purpose. I know sometimes my price is a little higher, but I can help people by not canceling on them. And we say that on the phone. Hey, how much is your service cost? Oh, it's $99 and this and this. Okay, I'll call around. Okay, let me just let you know, we have a no cancellation policy. So if you take off work to meet us, we will be there. Right now, it's like, wait a minute, maybe the extra money is. So differentiation, reducing friction, and becoming more known. Because if you become known more and they're calling you and they don't even know the other people, that helps. You can get them on the phone first and you can be the last on the phone because you're following up with them 3 days later. Okay. So that's one way that you do it, especially if you lean into the pain points of the fear and all that. Now it's really that price goes away. Nobody spends more money than parents on their kids. You want to know how much I spent on basketball with my 19-year-old son? $100,000 over 10 years. That's crazy. But we do it for our kids, right? So if you can lean into the safety thing, you'll beat the prices. And then being known and then reducing friction. There's no reason why I should have got my kids in driving school and I couldn't get an appointment. I couldn't get nobody to call me. That's ridiculous. They're a business. If somebody would have just said, hey, I'll tell you what, let me get all your information. I'll write everything down. I'll put you on an appointment. I'll call you back. Give them all the information. They call me back. Got you down for the 10th, sir. It would have been solved. I'm chasing them down, chasing them down, chasing them down, chasing them down. And finally, it said, son, just sign up with the one at the school. And that's why they're winning. Does that answer your question? Okay. Some of this stuff is better, like sitting at a coffee table discussing because one-on-one, and I'm trying to make it all. We got 12 minutes. Okay, pricing. All right. So you're going to set your menu, but every one of your prices needs to have the pricing margin that you need. There's no cheap price and low profit margin. That's not what I'm saying. There ain't going to be no, well, I want to get the customer. If they can't get my real price that I need, I don't want to lose them, so I'll give them. That's not what this is. Your low ticket still has your margin. This is how you make a margin, okay? The price that you give to the customer, and you have to look this up for your industry. All your industries are different, okay? I feel like I'm leaving some of you guys out tonight because we're talking about a lot of local services. So we'll get to you. You'll have your day. You need to look at your industry and find out your ticket. Let's say this is a ticket. This is an invoice. If you charge $100 in the home services industry, your cost, which is your material, your labor, your gas, everything, it cannot be more than 50% of the price that you give. That's the business, okay? So if I charge $100, my materials better not be more than $50. Yours is exactly like this. If I charge $400 to clean this house, the girls that I'm paying or the guys that I'm paying and the materials and the cleaning, if I charge $400, it better not be more than $200. You really want it at 40%, okay? And then you're going to take 10% of every job you do, advertising. How are you going to pay for this? You're going to take it out of your profit margin? No. You're going to put it in the price. You know that you need yard signs. You know you need postcards. You know you need Facebook ads. I'm not going to take it out of my paycheck and my profit margin. I'm going to add that cost to that price because it's a part of business. If I'm going to charge $1,000 to do something, Greg pays me $1,000 to work on his AC. $100 of that dollars is buying ads. I can't continue to be in business without ads. He only knows about me because of the ads. I'm serving him. If I go out of business, I'm not helping my customer. You need me in business. You need someone you trust to work on your AC. I'm going to do a good job. You trust me. I'm going to stand by my work. If I go out of business, you got to go find someone else, right? So you have to find out, like if you're selling, if you have a $20 package, a percentage of that has to go to ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, Facebook ads, boosting posts, whatever. So if you're, every $20 you make, putting $2 into a different account for ads or $1 or whatever, okay? So if you say $2, I'm only making $8, problem solved. The new price, $22. Because that's a cost. You price by your cost, okay? And that's how you beat your competition, how you pay for all that stuff, okay? Now, once you start doing that, because your owner pay is in there also, okay? So if I clean a house for $400, okay, then I say, okay, I paid the guy to clean it, my cleaner or whatever, if I have a cleaner, then, so I'm gonna pay him, pay the washing, pay the gas for the truck, whatever. That cost me $200. I have $200 left. And 10% of that's gonna go to ads, so now I have $180 left. And then 10% of that is my owner's salary, so that's another $18. I have 100 and whatever, $50 left. Okay, that's my net profit. At the end of the year, I'm collecting all this. So then if you say I did $300,000 in cleaning, oh, my board is getting chaotic now. It was doing good. If I make $300,000 a year and my net profit after my salary, I'm putting my salary in here. After my salary, after my costs, after my ads, at the end of the year, I might have 25,000. Guess what? Savings account. I might take half of it and put it back into the business. That's how you grow a business. Okay? All of that has to be in the price. And once you start doing that, you start finding out you're not the cheapest in town. Your closing rate starts to go down because you're not the cheapest. Now you have to do branding. But your business starts growing because now when I'm pricing like this, now I no longer have to be in the truck. Now I no longer have to wash anything because I priced it. Even if I'm by myself in the company, I priced it with the price, how much would it cost to have a cleaner here? And then just by default, when you start charging how much is to have another cleaner, to have another bookkeeper, to have another, now I can put them in and I can step back. That's how you do it. If you don't put it in the cost, you will always be doing it. And if you want to do that, that's fine. I'm just telling you, if you want to, that's how you have to do it. Okay? So you find your industry. I already know your industry and yours. You find your industry and you find out what percentage should go to marketing, percentage should go to owner salary and everything. All right, 17 minutes. Okay, so let's talk about, we can erase all this. Okay. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should stop. And do we have questions? I want to have time for Q&A. Okay, stop me if you have a question then. Did you have a question? That's a quote from a guy named Dan Antonelli. Branded, not blanded. A saying. Yeah, he came up with the saying 5 Mile Famous.
Oh.
Yeah, which is basically you can grow with a really small audience and be the man or the woman, or they say her, right?
Yeah.
With a small audience. Okay. Like for you, you can get very powerful with a very small audience. If you can get 1,000 women to say Paige is her, you can be very rich on that. Or you can just focus and try to get all 10 billion people in the world, you know? So it's a small niche. In my consulting, I focus on HVAC business owners. If you follow my stuff, it is geared towards HVAC business owners. I don't care who else watches it. Why? Because if I can capture that audience and they say, I own an HVAC business, he's him, I'd rather have 25,000 people know me and no one else recognize me. I'm never Myron Golden, but those 25,000 people, that's a lot. And you grow from there. Towards the pricing and marketing allocation, okay, so you get that. We would have to go over pricing in a whole separate thing because all you guys will have to price your services different. You know, and that's the crazy thing is, this is what I tell people. There's different personalities in the world.
It works though. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, you got
$100 is nothing. It's nothing. That's my number one customer avatar is a retired Army person. This is why. Let me tell you, and I tell people this all the time. I don't live in a super rich neighborhood. I'm in the house I bought when I was 24 years old. I'm going to be in the house for a long time. Okay. My mortgage is $800. I can sell newspapers and pay that mortgage. What I value is not money. Don't waste my time. That's Mike Johnson. If I know a guy can come and cut my grass and he's $200 and I know for a fact this dude is going to be there, he's going to cut it, he's going to do it right. I don't got to call him again. I made the one call, can be here Tuesday. I don't care about the money, right? And there's a lot of people like that. I don't care. There was a guy that came to do my deck. I do not like to waste time. He came. I said, hey, I'm ready to build this deck. I'm trying to build it for my dad so he can have somewhere to sit outside. How much do I value my dad? My dad is the greatest man ever walked on this planet, ever. My dad wants a place to sit outside. He's going to get a place to sit outside. I called this guy to build a deck. I told this guy, I said, I'm ready to build a deck today. How much is it? And I could tell he's nervous about his pricing. And I think I can probably do it for 1,000. And let me just work with the person and try to get on the price. I said, let's do it today. This is literally what I told him. Let's do it. Can you do it tomorrow? Okay, let me get back with you, Mr. Johnson. Next day I call him. Hey, man, you ready? I'm ready to build it right now. He's so nervous about giving the price and he's unreliable. I don't care about a place to sit. He's 76 years old. I can't wait for 3 years for this to happen. I want them to have a place to sit today. How much is that worth to me? A lot. Just give the price, right? So there's some people that would say, man, build a deck. It should cost you $20. Just say, okay, have a good day. That's not your person, right? And that what he's doing is he's honing in on people, especially if they're older. I'm getting into that point. I'm older now. I got to accept it. They value time. Mr. Johnny, don't waste his time. Don't waste his time. Some young guy, can you do it for $20? And that's what's happening, right? And a lot of people have a hard time understanding that, right? I told a contractor, actually, this is one of my favorite memories. This was actually last December. I did a job for a contractor. I quoted him $30,000. The last guy quoted him $20,000 the day before me. He said, hey, I'm going to admit, Mr. Johnson, you're $10,000 more. I said, I am $10,000 more. I'll tell you this, my crew is going to be here tomorrow, and they're going to finish Friday. And we're going to get to the inspection, and you're going to get tenants in your house. I will guarantee you that. I said, okay, pay me $30,000, done. Because he values time, right? Some people don't value money. And that's what you have to figure out is you got to get past you wanting to charge the competitor's price. Just do it. And then once you get those customers, you nurture them. Once I get someone like Nisla, who she just wants it done, she wants to be safe, she wants her family to be safe, now I'm going to be there. Because now I got her and I got him and I got him. I am going to nurture them. I'm never going to cancel on them. I'm even going to send them Oreos. I send them Oreos at the end. Because once you get that crowd, you can't screw it up.